Yo, it's your boy Dctree from Dctree-Nation.com, where we cover hoops and heroes. And today we're talking heroes. Man, I gotta tell you, the crisis is over, but the buzz is still going, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't perfect, but I gotta admit, man, I gotta tip my hat to him, man. It was one hell of a ride. But before I jump too deep into it, if you like my content, please sub to the channel. Okay, obviously I'm talking spoilers in this video, so if you have not seen all 5 parts of Crisis on Infinite Earths, go check those out first and come back and see about your boy. All right, see that first and come holler at me. Okay, spoiler time. You know, I'm gonna focus on 4 and 5, parts 4 and 5, and then, you know, if you guys like this video, I'll do like a, you know, maybe a complete podcast with guests and everything talking about this, because there's a lot to kind of, you know, dissect in this show. So I'm focusing on 4 and 5. And you can't talk about part 4 and 5 without talking about Oliver and the Spectre thing. When I first heard about this, I wasn't sure how to take it, but I have to admit his look and his voice and his presence in these episodes were well appreciated. It really gave it a very Jedi Knight Sith Lord feel to it, and I loved how they had a little joke about that. Okay, it didn't feel forced, it didn't feel unnatural, it felt right for him to be Spectre. You know, obviously they pull in for the comics and source material, so that's always good. So I really like what they did with him. The final battle he had with the Anti-Monitor felt like it was anticlimactic. Yeah, you see how I did that? Anti, yeah, okay. But they kind of rushed that fight. They should have kind of drew that fight out a little bit. And that's one of the themes of this Crisis Infinite Earths series. They would start off with pretty good fights and they would end like immediately. Like they were trying to save budget, like they were trying to save, you know, film or something. They didn't quite go all the way or go as far with the action sequences as they could have. And that's understandable because I could, you know, I can imagine the price tag of the actors alone was pretty high. So I can get them trying to save money here and there. So back to Spectre, I felt his fight with the Anti-Monitor was a little anticlimactic. You know, they did this kind of weak, kind of, you know, Kamehameha Super Saiyan thing. I love the line by Oliver though, you know, love the line. Hey, you have failed this universe. I just wish he would have came with like an angelic arrow and just put it through his heart. That thing would have been so tough, boy. Man, that thing would have been tough. But all things considered, I love what they did with this character. Another thing that they did really well with part 4 or 5 was the acting performances, man. Everyone was on top of their game. Lex Luthor, Kara. Oh man, they did a real good job with the Martian, man. I really was wondering why he was there, to be honest with you. That's my boy now, but I was wondering why he had such a big role. But for him to, you know, be so pivotal in part 5, man, it just worked well and it made sense. It actually made sense. But one performance that kind of struck me in the heart, man, gave me the feels, was when your boy Diggle and Sarah had that moment about Oliver being dead. Man, I don't tell you something about Diggle. Diggle is the character that's the glue. He's the glue that holds the Arrow show and team together. So he's always so optimistic. He's always so strong. But to see him break down like that, like he wasn't just tearing up, he was boo-hoo crying, man. Shout out to David Ramsey for doing the daggone thing, man. Shout out to him, the actor that plays Diggle. I did get his name right, did I? If I didn't, help me out in the comments. But shout out to him because he brought that moment to life, man. To life. Very memorable moment. I was at home like, man, something in my eye. I think it's something in my eye. I'm not even lying to you. Where this series lacked in action, they made up in heart, man. They made up in heart. And that sounds cliche, but man, they just knew how to pull on your strings. And they did that with character after character. Kara, Barry, you know, Barry's about to fight everybody. That was so realistic. I was like, Jesus, this is realistic. And then even Sarah, man, I was surprised how well her character has developed. Man, I'm looking forward to the new seasons of Legends. Man, and they just use this as a springboard for the rest of their shows, man. Great performances acting-wise. Another thing I just love about these crossovers and these shows in general, you could just tell they're being run by nerds. Nerds like us, because they just know how to pull on your nerdy strings, man. When they brought in the Flash from the movies for the cameo, I was like, whoa, whoa, just an Easter egg that you did not necessarily need, that we didn't necessarily ask for, but it was greatly appreciated, man. It almost felt like they were passing on the torch. And to me, it kind of gives the movie Flash some credibility that he lacked before. You see what I'm saying? Because obviously the TV Flash has been a lot better. So just to see them two interact, it kind of gave them the okay. And that line when he was like, I told Victor this was real. Giving that nod to Cyborg, man, I was like, man, these jokers know what they doing. These jokers know what they doing. Another thing they did real well was the use of smaller characters. It was great seeing Dinah and Renee, help out here and there. They weren't big, big parts of the story, but I love seeing them there. Your boy off of Legends writing his books, and his one-liners are always hilarious, man. I thought they actually used Ray the right way. It's been forever since we actually seen him in the Atom suit or used any of the Atom technology. That was awesome. And then, of course, I was hyped when Black Lightning came back, baby. Boy, I was hyped, man, because I thought he was done. I thought he was done for Crisis. I thought it was a done deal. So when he popped up at the end with the save, boy, I was too hyped, man. I was jumping up and down, everything. Like, let's go. Let's go. And that joker was like, yo, I'm from Freeland. And now he part of the team. He's a new guy. He has a seat at the round table with the big boys and girls now. He's a legitimate hero, more than just a street fighter this time. So I'm very interested on how that affects his outlook in Freeland, knowing how everything went down. Maybe him and the Martian can team up. Man, it just opens up so much possibilities for, Black Lightning and his personal show moving forward. So I was just super excited to see that. And of course, the build up to, the Anti-Monitor doing his version of King Piccolo off of Dragon Ball, growing huge, like this was Power Rangers or something. It was a little cheesy, but man, seeing, the Martian, Superman, and Supergirl kind of gang up on him, it felt right. It was smooth. It was smooth. It was cool. That throw by my boo thing, Kara, was weak as hell at the end, though. That job was super weak. That's still my boo thing, though. Her little Chinese bang. I see you. I see you, Nicki Minaj. Throwing your thing. Now, there was a lot of things I liked about this crossover, but if you really think about it, the action simply wasn't there. There were other crossovers where they had more action, more hand-to-hand combat, more explosions, more visuals. And this series has a way of sneaking by you because you get so caught up in the cameos, you get so caught up in the callbacks and the flashbacks and the emotions that you look up middle of, part 5, you're like, man, they really haven't had a whole lot of fight scenes in this thing. So, I mean, to each their own. Some people may be okay with that. To me, I'm all right with that. I love to have action. I feel like we've been spoiled because of Avengers Endgame and all these big, magnificent movie sets that we've been a little spoiled. So we expect more. But at the end of the day, this is CW, a smaller network. This is, television. So we kind of have to take that with it. But for what it was good, man. A lot of fan service, a lot of callbacks, a lot of cameos. So because of that, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, okay? It could easily be in that C+ range, but I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because, man, they put a lot of effort into this. And the story was popping. It was all over the place a little bit, just a tad sometimes. That Speed Force thing was confusing. But other than that, the story was on point. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Either way you look at it, guys, the CW and the Arrowverse is in good hands, man. They got a good mix of heroes, got a good mix of action and comedy. Man, I can't wait to catch up on these shows. I can't wait for the next crossover. They damn near have a mini Justice League up in the building with the new table and the new, lair, and Flash taking a huge role in there. I can't wait to see what they do with Mia Queen. Is Green Arrow and the Canaries going to be in the present or in the future, or are they going to be part of this Justice League? I'm glad my boy Black Lightning is along for the ride. I am completely hyped for this, okay? So I am hyped, and I hope you are too. Alright guys, this is it for this one. For more information on heroes, check out the main page, Dctree-Nation.com. Like us on Facebook. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Also, check out the superhero playlist I got for the channel for hero fans like us. Check me out, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.